So this is the broken board. You can see where it's snapped. This board is about 16 feet long from end to end, and it broke because I tried to put it into place. It's the last board, as you could probably see. And while trying to put it into place, I lost control and it dropped 13 feet to the ground and broke. Well, basically what I'm going to attempt to do is mend this board using these special fasteners that are normally used to connect countertops, like that. I'm going to attempt to do that. In order for me to do that, though, I'm going to have to flip the board around. All right, before I do anything else, what I'm going to need to do is draw a center line down each one of these, and I'm going to use my combination square and a white crayon to do that. Okay, now the next step basically is to use this jig which comes with the fasteners, and what I need to do is line that line up so that's right in the center, just like that, and then clamp it in place. Like that. Here's a close-up of what the jig looks like once it's clamped and the line is centered right down the middle. There are little notches on the jig that allow you to see the line so that you can get a dead center. Okay, now that that's clamped in place, what I need to do is drill a hole which will accept one side, which is a nut, the other side, which is a collar. And I do that using one of these Forstner bits, following this as a guide. Clean that out of there. And that looks about right. Now, as you can probably see, the jig also includes a guide for this kind of a drill so that I can drill all the way through, which will allow for this bolt to go through. So that's what I'm going to do now. And we're through. Okay, now that I'm through the hole, you could probably see the drill bit in there. I'll spin it around a little bit. What I need to do is to continue that drill bit into the other side and drill past here probably about a ½ inch to accommodate the bolt. So I'll do that right now. Okay, and this side is done. Take the clamp off and do the other side. Okay, all that's left to do is to repeat the process on the other board. And here we go. First with the Forstner bit. The nice thing about these bits is it gives you a nice flat bottom. And that's about right. Okay, now I just need to drill the hole for the bolt, making sure this is lined up properly. Okay, and that went through. Now, before I go any further, I want to show you these connectors. They're really quite clever. There's a ring, and in the center of the ring, there's this ball, and the ball is fixed in the center of the ring, and inside the ball is a thread, and the thread is for the bolt, and it gets screwed in that way. Now, you'll notice those little holes there. Those little holes are for later when I want to tighten this up and bring the boards together. I'll take my star drive screwdriver, which is small enough to go in the holes like that, and torque this and tighten it up. The other side, the other ring, has a slit that goes all the way through and opening that looks like a little bit of a saddle. And what that does is that the slide that goes all the way through pretty much slides over the flat part of the bolt, preventing it from spinning and not tightening. And the saddle goes over the end of the bolt in this end. If they were to use an actual nut, this would have to be maybe 3 or 4 times as big in order to be able to fit a wrench in there to tighten and torque that nut up. But this way, I just drop it in like that, put the screw in it up, and start to thread it. I'm going to thread it up this way as much as I can. Because the next step is to pull it through here. Okay, all I need to do now is to slip the collar in on the other side, and it can only go in one way, and that's like that. And I want to make sure that I bring these together very carefully, and the reason I say that is because the way it broke is very jagged, and the way it's going to come together is going to be kind of like a 3D jigsaw puzzle. So I want this to mesh almost perfectly. I don't want to rush it. I just want to take my time and bring this together. And you can see that really starting to come together now. Okay, that's about as tight as I can get it at this point, and you can see here on a close-up that you can barely even see the crack line here. Now, actually the test is going to be when I turn it over and see what it looks like on the front side, and that's what we're going to do next. Okay, now that we've turned it over, you can see the close-up here, and that crack is just about invisible. So I am very pleased with the way this came out.